headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnamese people and international friends share impressions of General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng. And Prime Minister calls for all efforts focused on completing a Mekong Delta Expressway. In our world news, major U.S. carriers restore some flight operations amid global cyber outage.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. local time, and you're tuning in for 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Huyền Trần with the top stories. General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng passed away on the afternoon of July 19th at the age of 80. During his lifetime, the General Secretary devoted himself to the revolutionary cause of the party and the nation with a will of steel and strong determination. He never retreated in the face of obstacles and difficulties while serving the country and his people. The remarkable dedication of General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng to the revolutionary cause of the party and the nation has left a profound impression and received a special affection from party members, citizens nationwide, and international friends.
I greatly respected and admired General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, particularly for his effort in leading the fight against corruption and negative phenomena. He stood as one Vietnam's brightest talent in the Ho Chi Minh era.
I found General Secretary's determination to combat corruption in his past 2 tenures exceptional. People were glad to have him in command to crack down on corruption.
To me, General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng was a prominent leader and a true communist. He was also an embodiment of leaders who was down to earth, close to people, and put the nation's and people's interests ahead. Moreover, he was an extremely kind-hearted person.
Many overseas Vietnamese like us had the honor of meeting the General Secretary during his working visits abroad. With his warm-hearted, modest, and sincere qualities, the General Secretary left a deep-rooted impression on us. I believe that the contributions and virtues of the General Secretary will always remain with every Vietnamese, both at home and abroad.
We highly appreciate the efforts of General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng. Before he became General Secretary, the total trade turnover between our two countries was about $20 billion US. Now the total turnover is up to about $90 billion US. This is the result of the outstanding efforts of General Secretary in particular and the party as a whole.
The life that he preached and was a really good example for everyone. But also, I think on the global scale, the development of bamboo diplomacy is very unique in the world. It's a very positive and practical way to approach foreign policy, and it creates an atmosphere of stability and peace and trust among nations.
The government office has just issued a notice on the conclusions of Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính addressing difficulties and obstacles for key transportation projects in the Mekong Delta region, Ho Chi Minh City, and related provinces. The conclusion was reached during his working trip with ministries and localities in the region. The government leader highlighted the importance of investment in the construction of key transportation projects. He also stressed the synchronized implementation of the construction, renovation, expansion, and upgrading of seaports and airports to complete a comprehensive transportation system and solutions to deal with climate change and other natural phenomena in the region. On behalf of the government, the Prime Minister acknowledged the active involvement and efforts of all relevant parties, especially residents who have actively handed over land for project construction. The Prime Minister underlined the goal of completing 3,000 kilometers of expressway nationwide by 2025, 600 of which are in the Mekong Delta region. Effective participation in the emulation movement of the 500 days and nights aimed at completing the expressway projects should also be further promoted. Vĩnh Long province has surveyed and assessed the reserve of 9 sand mines in the area, expected to supply the Cần Thơ Cà Mau Expressway and Ring Road No. 3 in Ho Chi Minh City. The 9 sand mines are recorded to have a total reserve of about 4.5 million cubic meters. These include the mines of Bối An, Bối Thiện 2, Tân Bình 2, Phú Thành, Ngãi Tứ, Bình Hòa Phước 2, Thanh Đức 2, Chánh An, Phú Thạch 1, Đồng Phú, Phú Thạch 2, and Lục Sĩ Thành. Among these, 2 mines are expected to support the Cần Thơ Cà Mau Expressway. In Ho Chi Minh City, the total outstanding credit balance in the first half of this year reached over $153 billion, up 4% compared to the last few months of the year. Many banks have launched credit packages worth thousands of billions of Vietnam dong to support businesses. Among them, several packages have reduced new loan interest rates by 1 to 2%. The State Bank of Vietnam has extended the debt restructuring period by an additional 6 months and also maintained the same debt groups to support customers facing difficulties. Currently, the ratio of short-term capital used for medium and long-term loans is nearing the maximum limit of 30%. Therefore, banks have been increasing capital mobilization and issuing Tier 2 bonds to augment their capital in the coming period. The rising prices of input materials are putting a pressure on both production costs and product prices. Despite the current low purchasing power, businesses are working hard to stabilize their product prices. Our story in Ho Chi Minh City offers a glimpse into this effort.
According to this enterprise, the price of coffee raw materials is increasing by more than 40% and shows no signs of cooling down. The enterprise has reviewed and cut input costs and streamlined procedures to control all product prices.
We are striving to stabilize market prices and will look for measures to adjust prices gradually next year when the market situation settles further.
Along with the coffee industry, many other food manufacturing sectors are seeing raw material prices soar by 30 to 70% compared to the same period last year. Therefore, prices must be increased by at least 15 to 40% to compensate for losses. However, purchasing power in the first half of this year remained modest, so businesses are reluctant to push up prices. The Ho Chi Minh City Department of Industry and Trade said that it was stepping up the deployment of consumer stimulus programs to boost purchasing power and sale revenues.
This year, we'll organize many new activities. For example, 15 consumer goods promotion events will be held across the localities and industrial zones in the city to help low-income earners access goods at reasonable prices.
Retailers noted that they are making efforts to keep prices as low as possible and are promoting initiatives to attract consumers. They will temporarily stop importing or import small quantities of items with large price increases.
The industry and trade sector prioritizes export promotion for key products in key markets to save costs and increase marketing impact. The solution will be rolled out to boost exports from now until the end of the year. Global markets are still prone to fluctuations, posing up many new requirements for trade promotion.
This garment business mainly produces and exports to the US and European markets. Since the beginning of the year, the number of orders from Europe has increased slowly while orders from the US are increasing at a faster pace. The business forecasts that its exports this year will increase nearly as much as in 2022, one of the best growth years.
We are receiving orders from major American fashion brands for the year-end holiday and Christmas. Our production capacity has not been struggling to meet the US market's orders for the last 6 months of the year.
Vietnam's exports to the US have grown well in recent times compared to other countries exporting to this market. The US is forecast to continue to be Vietnam's largest export market.
We will expand our network to better support Vietnamese companies doing business in the US and to help US companies find partners in Vietnam.
Imports from China, Vietnam's second largest export market, are also forecast to increase at the end of the year. Demand for goods, particularly food and tropical agricultural products, is expected to surge.
We will focus on implementing trade promotion activities in localities in China's central, northern, and western regions to exploit market potential there.
Many positive signs have shown that the world market is gradually recovering. However, advantages are also mixed with difficulties, so only businesses with improved designs and competitive prices can attract export orders.
Coming up next on VTV News. Solutions needed to improve degraded reservoirs ahead of heavy rain season. And Hanoi expands green spaces for locals' cultural well-being. Quang Tri ancient citadel overlooking the Thạch Hãn River witnessed numerous fierce battles during the American War in Vietnam. The site became the tomb of tens of thousands of Vietnamese soldiers who sacrificed their lives for national liberation. Ahead of the Vietnamese War Invalids and Martyrs Day, which falls on June 27, hundreds of war veterans have visited Trường Sơn National Cemetery to pay tribute to their fallen comrades and martyrs.
Phung Nhâm, a war veteran with a 40% disability rating, served in the army in 1970. Every year, he visits Trường Sơn National Cemetery to pay tribute to his fallen comrades.
Khanh, I have been seeking you for decades. Finally, I found you here. I'm still alive, but you passed away. I'm feeling very touched. Rest in peace, my dear friend.
Quang Tri Ancient Citadel is associated with a counterattack launched against Vietnamese soldiers and civilians for 81 days and nights in 1972. Every corner of the streets reminds people of heroic soldiers' sacrifice, evoking the deepest emotions in war veterans.
Visiting my fallen comrades reminds me of the good old days when we were students. Lighting an incense stick, I burst into tears. I'm very happy because I'm still alive and have a family, but my comrades, they have never had a chance to live the same way I do.
There are 72 military cemeteries in Quang Tri province, the resting place of more than 55,000 martyrs. This place becomes a symbol of the strong will and bravery of Vietnamese soldiers and the Vietnamese people's desire for peace.
I'm lucky to be alive and still maintain the virtues of Uncle Ho's soldiers. I feel pity for my comrades who sacrificed their lives for national liberation. War veterans have provided huge support for martyrs' families. As their comrades sacrificed their lives in Quang Tri, many groups of war veterans took their comrades' families here to help them reunite with their lost beloved ones.
Quang Tri Ancient Citadel attracts not only war veterans and fallen soldiers' families, but also tourists of all ages. The special national relic becomes a venue where young generations and tourists learn many things about the heroic struggles of the Vietnamese soldiers and people during wartime.
Now, due to heavy rain, the concrete road leading to Gốc Sấu Hamlet, Đoàn Kết Village, Đại Sơn Commune, Văn Yên District, Yên Bái Province has been damaged, isolating 17 households. As of Saturday morning, the road has been temporarily restored, allowing residents to pass through. In this village, a 2,000 cubic meter landslide affected a slope, causing debris to spill into residential areas. Although there were no casualties, the landslide caused significant damage, including collapsed walls and buried 2 motorcycles along with other belongings. Currently, Vietnam has 337 severely degraded irrigation reservoirs, according to the Department of Irrigation, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Most of the damaged reservoirs are in Thanh Hóa, Nghệ An, and Hà Tĩnh provinces, where heavy rain and floods regularly occur. Ensuring the safety of these degraded irrigation works and dams is an urgent task for localities, especially as the peak time of storms and floods approaches.
Since last year's flood season, cracks have emerged along the dam of Khe Cham Reservoir in Hương Khê district. The upper and lower slopes of the dam do not meet current construction standards and are prone to landslide. Built in 1977, the reservoir has a capacity of over 500,000 cubic meters and supply water to Gia Pho Commune and part of Khe Ta Dam area in Hương Khê district.
The company also developed plans to reduce the amount of water in the reservoir and increase flood drainage capacity to prevent overflow and landslides.
Khe Cõi Reservoir in Hà Linh Commune is especially dangerous because the dam could break at any time. Nearly a year ago, half of the dam was lost due to prolonged heavy rain. Local authorities are quickly reinforcing the dam with soil or sand.
The locality has allocated nearly $4,000 to address the damages, but this budget will only suffice for temporary repairs.
Hà Tĩnh currently hosts 310 small dams, most of which are in serious disrepair. While several large dams are under construction in Hà Tĩnh province to replace these aging structures, the medium and small dam must continue to operate to ensure water supply for irrigation and flood drainage.
The provincial authority has agreed with the department's proposal on the repair of dams. However, due to limited local resources, funding has not been allocated for the renovation.
Many other provinces and cities are in a similar situation to Hà Tĩnh province, where hundreds of medium and small dams have deteriorated significantly. Urgent solutions are needed to earmark financials and technical resources for the repair and upgrade of these dams.
Hanoi is expected to complete the renovation and beautification of 30 parks and gardens by the end of this year. Currently, the city districts have achieved half of this goal. So far, 14 gardens have been renovated and are now in use. Ba Dinh district leads with 6 completed projects. The renovations restore all degraded features of the public spaces while also adding new amenities for residents. For the city's 3 major parks, Thống Nhất, Thủ Lệ, and Bách Thảo, Hanoi has approved an investment policy of over $38.3 million for their renovation. The city has also tasked local authorities with developing detailed plans to expedite the investment process. Hanoi is enhancing its urban landscape by expanding green spaces, essential for the city's cultural and social vitality. Often referred to as the lungs of the city, these public areas are crucial for residents' cultural and spiritual well-being. Recognizing this need, Hanoi is not only revitalizing existing spaces, but also planning to build 9 new parks.
The CV1 regulating lake park is strategically located between Nam Tu Liêm and Cầu Giấy districts. Encompassing nearly 30 hectares of water and greenery, the park is poised to become a significant green lung for the western part of the city. It's scheduled for completion this year.
This is a good news not only for Cầu Giấy district but also for all Hanoi residents. It promises to offer a space for recreation and relaxation.
Highlighting the new developments is the Hanoi Children's Palace, designed by architect Doãn Minh Khôi. Inspired by folklore, the palace features modern amenities, including a swimming pool, sports stadium, astronomy tower, and theater.
Integrating elements from Vietnamese legends like Thánh Gióng and Hùng Kinh, it aims to connect children with their cultural heritage through its design. All of its elements are consistent in concept, creating a unique urban attraction.
The management board of the Children's Place has received operational guidelines from the construction teams. Completion is anticipated by July, with plans to commence operations in August.
The city's commitment to green space expansion continues with the construction of 9 more parks, adding 320 hectares to the city's greenery.
Overcoming logistical challenges, the city has delegated site clearance responsibilities to district authorities to expedite project completion. We also provided consultations on building recreational spaces for everyone.
Hanoi aims to increase its park count to 60 within the inner city by 2030, with 18 new parks in development. These initiatives underscore the city's dedication to meeting the public's demand for more accessible green spaces.
Many traditional craft villages in Vietnam are struggling to keep traditions alive with the advent of modernization and industrialization. A sedge weaving village in Nghệ An, however, has been creative in maintaining its trade and introducing its products to international customers.
The post-harvest period is usually the busiest time for craft people in this village, as they take a break from fieldwork. Phương and her fellow craftswomen have secured an additional income stream with their sedge products.
We make one bulk product and a few smaller ones every day. This is a stable trade for us to practice, and we've been able to sell pretty well.
Sedge mats used to be the key product of the sedge weaving craft before they lost most of their market appeal. As a result, the village shifted their productions to exporting products to diverse shapes and sizes.
We used to do self-pitching, but now our customers come to our village and place their own orders.
This traditional sedge weaving village was home to more than 50 craft households and 110 craft people. They harvested sedge plant from the village and brought from neighboring provinces when supply ran low.
We aim for OCOP standards to elevate our branding and promote our products regionally and internationally. Ultimately, we want more farmers to learn about this cooperative initiative and replicate it.
The craft village has withstood the test of time thanks to its flexible adaptation to market trends. Despite challenges, the adjusted sedge products of Tho Thanh commune have earned domestic approval and initial international success.
Coming up next in our world news. Major U.S. carriers restore some flight operations amid a global cyber outage. And health data of 13 million Australians breached. Now moving on to our world news. The U.S. aviation industry is resuming flights after a mistake in a security software update sparked long hours global computer system outages. Top U.S. carriers including Delta Air, United Airlines, and American Airlines said they have safely reestablished operations, resumed flights, and lifted ground stop notices. Cybersecurity analysts believe the outage was caused by an update to the CrowdStrike software. Industries ranging from airlines to healthcare, shipping, and finance have experienced delays to their services. The travel industry was among the hardest hit, with airports around the world reporting problems with their systems and delays. About 12.9 million Australians had their data stolen in the MediSecure hack earlier this year, placing it among the largest cyber breaches in Australian history. MediSecure confirmed that it was the victim of a ransomware attack from March 2019 to November 2023. The 6.5 terabytes of data also included some sensitive health information, such as which medications people were prescribed, the name of the drug, dosage, and the reason for their prescription. Australian cybersecurity authorities have warned the public to watch out for scams referencing the MediSecure data breach and not to respond to unsolicited contact. The Japanese government projected on Friday that the country could welcome a historic 35 million arrivals this year, with spending rising to an all-time high of about 8 trillion yen, equivalent to 50 billion US dollars. This estimate follows strong growth in international visitors in the first half of the year, totaling 17.78 million. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has also committed to tackling issues associated with over-tourism, such as traffic congestion, pollution, and disruptions to local communities. He also pledged support for rural areas by exploring financial incentives to expand air connectivity to local airports. A prototype prosthetic foot that stimulates the anatomical structure of a real human foot has been unveiled by the Italian Institute of Technology in Genoa, Italy. Capable of mimicking the flexibility and waterproof trait of a human foot, it is believed to be a game changer for people with limb loss and possibly for future humanoid robots.
The bionic foot, called SoftFoot Pro, is specifically designed for uneven and slippery terrains, providing improved balance for users and potential robotic applications. The foot has no motors or electrical parts, making it waterproof and suitable for outdoor use on various terrains.
The systems have 5 rows of phalanx that reproduce the 5 fingers of the human feet. Each phalanx is connected with elastic bands and ligaments that allow the system to absorb energy, to adapt to the environment, and to apply the force to the environment after the adaptation.
Current prostheses and humanoid robots typically have flat or low compliant feet. While these designs provide stability, Catalano said they lack adaptability to changes in terrain and posture, such as kneeling or bending.
We are trying to have a system that users can adopt every day in their life without changing the fit for specific task. This means that we can use this prototype in every condition of our life, in humid environments like water, but also in a work environment that can be difficult for people to address with the conventional fit.
Several prototypes of SoftFoot Pro have already been tested by individuals with unilateral lower limb amputations in Germany and Austria to demonstrate the potential to enhance the lives of prosthetic users in advanced robotics. Its unique design has already secured 2 international patents, with a third currently under review by the European Patent Office.
Now let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.